This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch for Monday, July 1st. I'm Mark Martin. Today, President Trump's trade truce with China could help your retirement account, with stocks set to head higher today. We'll look at the president's meeting with North Korea's Kim Jong-un and the hope that it could lead to a deal ending the North's nuclear weapons program. An Iraqi soldier who fought against ISIS hears the message of the gospel, and now he's risking his life to help those in need. And how one organization in Israel is connecting Christian leaders from around the world with believers in the Jewish state. Those stories and more today on Newswatch. We begin with the U.S. trade truce with China. And while the president's meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un grabbed the headlines, that trade decision could have a bigger long-term impact, and it could mean new record highs on the stock market today. At the G20 summit meeting in Tokyo this weekend, Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping announced trade talks will resume. The U.S. will hold off on additional tariffs on Chinese imports, and China will buy more American agricultural goods. Chief White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow explained what the U.S. and China have agreed to do.
We will resume the talks. The two teams will be getting together. Tariffs will not be raised. There'll be no lifting of tariffs on the remaining $325 billion. That's an important concession by President Trump. And we also expect the Chinese, while the talks are going, we expect the Chinese to begin large-scale purchases, imports of U.S. agriculture products and services.
But some U.S. lawmakers expressed concern when the president said U.S. companies would be allowed to sell products to Chinese telecom giant Huawei. The administration clarified that the sales will only be general merchandise, not technology that could affect national security. Following his meeting with Chinese President Xi in Japan, President Trump became the first sitting U.S. president ever to enter North Korea. Gary Lane reports on the president's impromptu meeting at the demilitarized zone with North Korea's Kim Jong-un.
President Trump is back in Washington after making history in Asia. Early Sunday evening, he tweeted this video of his impromptu meeting at the DMZ with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un.
My friend.
Kim warmly greeted Trump and told him it was good to see him again. "I never expected to see you at this place," Kim said. Then the unexpected occurred as Mr. Trump actually stepped into North Korea.
It's my honor. Would you like me to step across? I'd be very proud to do that. Okay, let's do it. Come on.
It was one small step for Donald Trump, one giant leap for U.S.-North Korea relations, when the president became the first sitting president to enter the Hermit Kingdom. Kim, who rarely talks to foreign reporters, told those gathered at the north-south border he was pleased with Trump's willingness to move forward.
I believe, just looking at this action, this is an expression of his willingness to eliminate all the unfortunate past and open a new future.
The surprise meeting came just 32 hours after President Trump tweeted that he'd be willing to meet with Kim at the DMZ, following the G20 summit in Japan and meetings with South Korean officials in Seoul. It followed Trump's first historic meeting with Kim in Singapore and a second summit last February in Hanoi. That meeting ended early and resulted in cooler relations with no future talks scheduled. When he crossed, it caused media mayhem as North Korean security, unprepared for the onslaught of journalists, blocked the way. Later, the two leaders met for nearly an hour. New White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham shoved aside a North Korean guard to make room for photojournalists to capture the historic moment. And would President Trump invite Kim to the United States?
I would invite him right now. Let's go. To the White House. Absolutely.
Before that, lower-level talks are expected to resume. But for now, Trump's historic step brings new hope that a deal to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula may eventually be reached. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Here at home, gay pride parades were held across the country Sunday, with New York City hosting one of its largest ever. The procession lasted for hours and paid tribute to the uprising at the Stonewall Inn Tavern 50 years ago that sparked the modern gay rights movement. Some protesters carried anti-Trump and queer liberation signs. New York Democratic Representative Jerry Nadler also hailed the celebration.
This year is particularly good because for the first time we passed the Equality Act in the House of Representatives a couple of weeks ago. The first act that would declare LGBTQ people equal in all ways, to ban every form of discrimination. We passed it in the House, and God willing, in January of 2021, we'll pass it in the Senate, and somebody not named Donald Trump will sign it into law.
The Stonewall celebration coincided with World Pride, an international LGBTQ event. In other news, the Supreme Court won't revive an Alabama law banning a specific type of abortion, dilation and evacuation, also called dismemberment abortions, are most commonly performed after 15 weeks. Outlawing the procedure would ban nearly all abortions after the first trimester. A lower court blocked the law, and the high court refused to hear an appeal. Palestinian officials discovered a Byzantine-era baptismal font in the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. The church was built in the 4th century on the site traditionally believed to be the birthplace of Jesus. The font was discovered during recent renovations. The head of the Palestinian committee called the discovery magnificent. He said, "Nobody knows why it has been covered and put in this place, and never written in any historical book about it." Coming up, he's an Iraqi soldier who has fought ISIS. He heard the message of the gospel. Now he's risking his life to help those who are suffering. We're going to have that story when we come back.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
And welcome back. A new crisis is unfolding in Syria. Russian and Iranian-backed forces are ravaging the country. Still, brave soldiers and relief workers are bringing hope. Chuck Holton talked to one Iraqi soldier who's found new life and now risks his life helping rescue the suffering.
In March,
After conquering the last ISIS holdouts, Russian, Iranian, and Syrian forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad turned their attention to wiping out rebel groups who call themselves the Free Syrian Army. U.S. intelligence agencies report that former ISIS fighters have joined the FSA, which also receives support from Turkey. Civilians in the rebel-held areas around the northwestern city of Idlib are paying the highest price. The White Helmets, a rescue organization receiving help from the United States, has been busy rescuing those caught in the massive bombing. This Syrian Kurdish soldier, who spent 2 years fighting ISIS, talks about those who now kill for the Free Syrian Army.
Yeah, they are jihadis, straight up. They're jihadis. There's videos online when they took Afrin, how they're slaughtering people. You know, they have ISIS flag and Nusra flags. So these are not Free Syrian Army. There is no Free Syrian Army anymore. This is the people that ran away from Rojava and Idlib, everything from the regime or from us early days of this fight.
As the fighting wears on, more than 300,000 people have fled this area for camps closer to the Turkish border. Translator Muhammad Ahmad once fought ISIS as a sergeant in the Iraqi army. His life changed forever when he met a small group of humanitarians known as the Free Burma Rangers.
I said, please stay here, and I want to go to America. America, like heaven, nice place, safety place. I'm tired. I'm 12 years. I work with Iraqi army and war, always war. I want to go to America. Can you help me?
But their leader, Dave Eubank, had something better to offer, the love of Jesus.
Can I pray for you? I said, yes. And he prayed for me. I love his mercy. He cried with the people. He helped the children, old women, old men. I don't believe we have in this world like these people. This is not normal human, not normal people. This is angels. And I say, I will follow these people. This is right people.
The Rangers led Muhammad to give his life to Jesus, a difficult and dangerous decision for a Muslim. And Muhammad would soon face one of the greatest struggles of his life during the 2016 battle for Mosul.
And we see the civilians, they run away from us. And David, he look and he see little girl, she shot in her eye. And he say, oh, quick, they need help. Yeah, and Muhammad, can you drive for us? I said, yes, I can.
In the midst of a vicious firefight, the team rescued the girl and her father, but not without cost. Their translator, Shaheen Nazdar, was shot while helping the girl escape. Muhammad jumped to help his friend.
And I tried to help him. I tried to put him in the Humvee, and ISIS, he shot me in my arm. Yeah. And this last one, and 2 in my chest, and 1 in my shoulder, 1 in my leg, 1 here, and yeah, and I don't stop. I put it my hand here, and I drive in this hand. I feel it's very weak, but I say I don't die here.
Miraculously, Muhammad got everyone back to the medical facility before he passed out from loss of blood.
And the doctor, he told me, this just 1 milli, you become disabled or you be die. You are very lucky. You are like cat. You had 9 lives.
But he knows it wasn't luck. Since his recovery, Muhammad has worked with the Free Burma Rangers across Iraq and Syria to help people displaced by the ongoing war. And he knows he was spared for a reason.
Everything changed, my heart, my mind. I'm like a new person. I feel I'm light, I want to help. Yeah, I'm not like before.
Chuck Holt, CBN News, Erbil, Kurdistan.
Wow, powerful story there. Still ahead, despite the rising awareness of sexual harassment and sexual assaults, those problems are still occurring all too frequently in the U.S. Look at how one award-winning film is attempting to change the culture, especially on college campuses.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
As the nations rage, you can stand with Israel.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
Call 1-800-700-7000 and get to life.
This is our nature as a country.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
Support Israel in their time of need. Get to Life, now available on DVD. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
And I wish that other people throughout the world could see this side of Israel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Every 2 minutes, a sexual assault happens in the United States, and often these crimes go unreported. In the era of Me Too awareness, an award-winning film aims to change the culture, especially on college campuses. Charlene Aaron sat down with the woman whose personal story is the inspiration for the film.
I'm a freshman. I've been on this campus for 2 weeks, and I was sexually assaulted 6 days ago. And no one tells you where to go from there.
1 in every 5 women and 1 in 16 men will be the victims of sexual assault during their time in college.
Between 11 and 17, I was abused by my adopted father.
I was repeatedly molested by my first grade teacher.
I was 15, he was 17, and he was supposed to be my friend.
Former television personality Rosemary Tribble knows that pain well. At 25, an attacker brutally raped her at gunpoint in her Virginia hotel room. Earlier that same day, she had hosted a segment about sexual assault.
And I went down for coffee. And when I came back into the room, a huge man was there, and he began to attack me and began to at first strangle me. And I'll never forget his words, because he put a gun to my temple. And he said, okay, cute talk show host, what do you do with a gun in your head? And I had never thought about that. And it was a night of absolute complete horror.
The attack left Tribble in a constant state of fear.
I'd always been a very trusting and open person, and suddenly I had this wall around me of real fear. One of my challenges in healing was that within the next 6 months, my husband began running for the United States Congress. And so it made it even harder, because I was torn inside, but putting on a happy face of the candidate's wife. And then he was elected.
As a Christian, she leaned on faith for healing, which included forgiving her attacker who was never caught.
And I said to the Lord, Lord, I forgive the man that raped me. And I will pray the rest of my life that someone will tell him about Jesus and forgive him, and that I will spend eternity with the man who raped me.
In 2010, she wrote a book about her experience and now helps others find healing through her nonprofit organization, Fear to Freedom. Her Emmy Award-winning documentary, Be the Change, challenges schools to make campuses safe for everyone. Her work began at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia, where her husband now serves as president.
I think that it has encouraged women to come forward, and sometimes confidentially and sometimes revealing their names. There has been such a stigma in the past about talking about being wounded by sexual abuse, whether it's child abuse or sex trafficking or being violated.
Fear to Freedom Executive Director Tricia Russell says a big part of the program focuses on male students.
For the young men, you know, they're going to be the ones that make a big change in this, because they need to be the ones that tell their friend, that's not okay, don't do that, that's not good behavior.
More than 50 colleges and universities across the country have embraced this effort and hosted events, including Radford and George Mason.
When we first started Fear to Freedom, that was, I guess I wrote the book 11 years ago, and maybe 7 years old started the Fear to Freedom. Very few people were really talking about this yet.
Russell says it now extends well beyond the campus itself.
We partner in each college town with the hospital and also community partners, crisis centers, counseling centers, shelters, and even domestic violence shelters.
They encourage students to take an active role by putting together aftercare kits for assault victims. These are helpful because after an assault, a victim's clothing is kept for evidence. So each kit contains a t-shirt, sweatpants, and toiletry items.
A lot of victims were having to leave the hospital in either paper scrubs or hospital gowns. And you've already been through the most traumatic and humiliating thing in your life, and now you're going to have to walk out like that.
Also included a personal note of encouragement from a student.
And I think that's a moment that really blesses both the student, but also blesses the person that was sexually assaulted.
Since 2011, student volunteers have put together more than 20,000 aftercare kits. Russell says the impact on survivors has been overwhelming.
They're just amazed that someone packed this or did this for them. A lot cry, a lot just are just heartbroken to begin with, but this just helps them.
While Tribble recently retired as head of Fear to Freedom, her legacy and achievements are well recognized. Earlier this year, the Virginia General Assembly awarded her a commendation for helping other victims find freedom.
What was meant for evil, I truly believe was made for good, because I would have never begun this nonprofit. I would have never been able to come forward and really be someone that could be a voice for the voiceless.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
You can find out more about Fear to Freedom and the documentary Be the Change by going to cbnnews.com. Coming up, how one organization in Israel is working to connect visiting Christian leaders with believers right there in the Jewish state. We'll have that story next.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern Gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
A Millsburg Falls man coming.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Get the top political news and analysis from Washington on Faith Nation, tonight at 6 Eastern, only on the CBN News Channel.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Welcome back. One organization in Israel connects Christian leaders around the world with local believers. Chris Mitchell brings us this look at why, for visitors and Israelis, it's a unique encounter.
It's called the Jerusalem Encounter, and it's a ministry of FIRM, the Fellowship of Israel-Related Ministries.
Jerusalem Encounter is a conference that's held every June. We invite the world to come and meet the body of believers here in this land. They come not just to see the ancient stones, but to meet the living stones. This temple that's being built, this temple, a spiritual temple of believers, Jews and Arabs together, in a remarkable unity and peace, building up the kingdom of God here in the land of Israel.
Local leaders appreciate the opportunity.
Actually, it's almost priceless. Anytime you want to get some networking done, you're getting people from overseas who have absolutely no opportunity to know who the pastors are or mission agencies or workers or the body of the Messiah inside Israel. They all get together. It's an incredible networking opportunity.
All of these people that come in here, they're coming also for one purpose, right? Is to, first of all, bless the land, but also stand alongside the rest of the ministries in the land here. And many people that would come here would come only maybe for tourism, and sometimes they miss connecting really with the body, what the kingdom is like here in the land of Israel among the Arab and the Jew. So that makes a great platform for exposure for many ministries to connect with the believers, pray together, and support each other and stand together for what God has for this land.
For those coming from the nations, the experience can be life-changing.
More than anything, just being here has changed my life. It has taken my faith from black and white to color. It has just renewed my zeal for the Jewish people.
Hilsden believes it's a unique time in biblical history.
We get testimonies from especially pastors from around the world who are surprised to discover a growing, living body of believers here. So the shock is, wow, the Lord is working in a fresh and new way, probably in a way greater than anything we've seen in the past 1900 years. Even since the book of Acts, we're seeing, I believe, an awakening of revelation of the Messiah to his people here in this land.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And that's it for today's first edition of Newswatch. You can find more on the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com and can watch CBN News programs anytime on our CBN News channel. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here by emailing newswatch@cbn.com or talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.